sort of things that you'd expect us. But audiences, you, can watch anything you want, any time of the day. You use all that GSI stuff, the computer-generated, GIS stuff, computer-generated, CGI stuff. That's it. Computer-generated stuff.
I'll edit that bit out. Don't worry about
it. So you expect your expectations quite high. So we've got to compete with that. So tomorrow, Thursday, we open When the Boat Comes In. When the Boat Comes In was based on a novel that was written about this very area that we're in. But it starts after the First World War. And so we've spent a lot of money and a lot of time doing surround sound soundscape, so you can hear what the actors are talking about. Not hear the actors, but what it sort of sets the mood for you. So in Psycho, in the film Psycho, when they go, you get all excited that she's going to be stabbed. Well. Now, soundscape round theatre is really important for pointing the audience to the emotion that the director wants them to have. So that's a massive part of it. All of our lights now are intelligent lighting. Yeah, so many times before you'd say, "Oh, that red one? Can you make it blue?" Yeah, I'll just get the ladders out and I'll just go up there and I'll change it and I'll go back up and put the red one in. And the time now, you say, "Can you make that red one blue?" And they go, "Yeah." And it's done instantly. And a lot of the people who visit theatres, touring companies, will now arrive with what is in effect a stick and plug it into the industry standard lighting board, and the lights go, right, we're ready. It's changed dramatically, that sort of turnover time. But what you can't, our biggest cost, as in most businesses, is the bloody actors. And the sooner we get robotics, the better for me.
Just out of personal interest for me, being an audiophile, everything's got to be sounding correct. Digitally now, you've got digital sound, you've got digital lights. Was it better? Was the lighting better with the old lights and the old bulbs, though?
There's a massive debate. She's been researching. There's a massive debate in the industry because LED is such a sharp light. It's such a strong light. They've actually asked for an exemption to still have the old style lights, the old style lighting, because it's a warmer, gentler light for theatre. And indeed, the lighting designer that we've got has brought in some old lights. I love the new lights because they're much more energy efficient and reduce our costs massive. Because, we work in big black rooms, don't we? Theatres, big black rooms that cost a load to heat and light. They're hopeless. So the thought of having cheaper lights was brilliant. But it's not worked for the lighting designer. He doesn't like it. He has to put the old ones on. And I said, well, why? If you want to go wild, get a lime light. Which when they used to burn lime, and that's where the expression comes from, standing, being in the limelight. Or use candles if you want to be really traditional. But no, he wants a mix. So yes, it is a challenge to us, yeah.
It's interesting because when you are on the stage there, everything's dark and you won't be able to see the audience, I imagine. Whereas now you can see everybody here.
Do you know what you can see mostly in the audience now? Can anybody guess? It's like looking out at a Canaletto painting. Everybody is underlit. So you because they're all referring back to their phones. Now, there was a time when the industry I'm in tried to ban all of that, but now we embrace it and say, point your camera, tell the story, get it told. Last year when I did pantomime, there was somebody in the front row, not only was doing the Facebook, doing the Twitter, saying, "Oh, right, this is what I had for me tea." Really important stuff. They were on the phone. They actually were having a conversation in the middle of the front row. And I'm fairly tolerant of most things, but I wasn't on this occasion. So I went down in the front row and asked who was on the phone. Well, I told the audience all to be quiet because we're going to have this conversation with this girl. And it was a nana. It was a nana that she was on the phone to. And I had a chat with her nana. And then we got on with the show. But technology is with us all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
We used to try and control it. And for theatres, often, we have to control it for safeguarding purposes. We have a lot of young kids perform on our stage, and we're not allowed to have people take images, but try and stop it. Try and stop it now.
And spoiler alerts.
Spoiler alerts too. Well, particularly if you have a big...
like the Panto, for instance.
Yeah, you know, like the big reveal or the beanstalk going up or the giant's head. Or
Are
the
you dressed like
giant's hand.
Princess Leia?
Or me dressed like Princess Leia, yes.
One of my favourites.
Yes, yes, well. I can't blame you there. And so, yeah, it sometimes does crush it, but really there's a primeval... Thank God, there's a primeval need for human beings to enjoy things together and respond together. And that's what brings people to theatre. It's not that they can't see the same stories on telly. It's not that they can't listen on radio or, you know, watch it any time, 24 hours. It's about the coming together and sharing that experience and sharing that applause. And I think that's why we'll survive, because so much of our world is so insular now. And I think, you know, Mamma Mia, you don't need to... The number of times I've been on box office and they've come in and said, what you got on, like? What you got on? Mamma Mia. Well, I've already seen that. Pirate got at the pub. And the number of times that we hear that. But that's been improved by technology. Because that whole 35mm Geet Big bags of film that... 35mm film used to have to be stuck together. This was only a few years ago. Stuck together, and every week you cut the end off to add the new advertisements. It's all been replaced now, but just like you have Netflix or Sky or whatever, we just have a big tube of broadband that brings the information down the line, and we're tapping a code, and there you go, jobs are good, and we watch it.
So you've alluded there to people watching Netflix or watching pirate copies. Are these challenges, like what challenges do the Customs House face?
In terms of
getting buttons on seats and getting people to the venue?
I think it's a generational thing now. When there was no alternative, people went to what there was. But now you've got so many alternatives, haven't you, to what you do with your time. You don't necessarily want to come to the theatre. So quite often when we're on stage, you see a sea of white heads. And our challenge, I think, is to get the next generation to come along and engage with storytelling, which is done from the stage and not from a box in the corner or not from the phone. I mean, at home we have these two big televisions in different parts of the house, and yet my daughter insists on watching everything on a smartphone. You know, because it's hers. So I don't know. There is a challenge to us, but I do believe that there will always be a need for people to attend events.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So thinking about those events, is there anything that sticks out in your mind over the last 18 years that you've been here that really you're proud of, or a really great memory for you?
I think the opening night of Tom and Catherine was particularly moving for me because the whole of the audience stood up and cheered and roared approval of something that we'd taken from nothing and created. And that's not changed for me, really. I love to tell stories about our region, so about our area in particular. So when we've told the story of the Duke in the Cupboard about the guy who stole the portrait of Duke of Wellington and brought it back to the northeast and hid it in the cupboard because he ransomed it off to get free television licenses for the old people who'd fought in the war. You think I'm joking? That is a true story, and it happened in Benwell. And look at the first James Bond movie references it. Anyway, or the story about Kirkpatrick, the guy who was the man and the donkey, or the riots that we had outside here in the 1930s. I love telling those stories. And so when the boat comes in that we've got this week, I hope it's going to be really significant because the themes in it are universal. And it is so special to have a world premiere, to buy the rights for the book and then bring it to the stage and see how people react to it. And I think it'll be really special when they see it. I've seen it in rehearsal, and I'm really keen to see it. So whenever we bring anything that's new, I love. But special, really special to me, when I was little, I used to see things in little books, and some were colour and some weren't. Can you remember those days? when everything wasn't colourful and books were books. And then I went to the Louvre and saw what a Delacorte school hadn't served them well. This is many years ago. And we got him to go to drama school and things by raising money and took him from the Nook. And last week I went to Edinburgh Festival, and there he was with his own production company. He'd written the play, he'd directed the play. It is getting great reviews, and he started at the Nook and Shields. And I'd like to think that part of where he's got to was his journey here, both Customs House and the college before that. But that's what really floats my boat now. Seeing people come through, whether it's Joe or Jade or Jamie out of Calabro, all of whom started singing on our stage. That's what floats me boat.
You know, there's a community feel to this, and you've got a community here, Ray, you've got a business community here. So what can we do? You're smiling there. What can we do as a business community to help the Customs House?
Do you know, I mean, the easiest answer is money. So I'm just going to say money. No, the truth is that if you want to do something that's a bit different, like we've got a Nigel Begg, right? Nigel Begg from Aspire Solutions. You might know Nigel. He's going to appear on our pantomime, right? He's going to appear on his pantomime because the staff want him to, right? They want to humiliate him. They want us to. So he'll appear for 5 minutes, and they'll all hoop and holler. You know what I mean? But it's a unique thing. It'll be fantastic for those staff, and we've done it with Northumbria Water in the past. So it's a different way for you to get involved. I mean, it's easy. We've got loads of ways for people to support us financially. But also, you know, this is a canny room, has a free car park. It's next to the river. It's got a nice park outside. Sometimes somebody once said when they had an event down here, it was the Community Foundation, and George, who was the then chair, got up and apologised to the Duke of Northumberland and the people who'd had to travel from the quayside down to South Shields. And then they asked me to speak, and I said, I just want to remind to the people from the quayside, Gateshead, Newcastle, that it's the same distance from Gateshead, Newcastle to where we are as it is from everywhere else in the northeast to where you are. And I think that sometimes we should spread the love a bit. That's why I was so keen that you came here tonight, so we could say, look, have you seen our space? You know, we've got another space over there, and we've got a 400-seater space over there. It would be good if people just considered us sometimes to hold events, not massive events. And it'd be good if you considered, you know, how we could, you can get involved with some of the work we do with the 25,000 young people that we work with. So that's what I'd like to see, just being considered.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the space there. Have you got 71 spaces for us to star in pantomime as well as Nigel?
Well, we're on it. Last year we did 74 performances, so
right, okay.
I would still have 3 spare.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I think it's, I'm going to see how it goes, but it might be a bit of a spinner. Nigel's doing it for the Chloe and Liam Together Forever Trust. Yeah. He bid for it, and the money's going to that. But there is room.
Excellent stuff, right? I'll get the dress out. So what does the future hold, Ray? You've mentioned a few things there, the Tom and Catherine thing, really close to your heart, good memories. What about going forward then? What would you like to do that you haven't done already?
Retire.
Okay.
It's a real quest of mine. Unfortunately, working in the arts, there's no final salary pension. I made the wrong choice. Anyway, but I have a great time here. I would really love to leave the Customs House in a situation where I say, you know what, it's all right now. I can, you could say I've failed for the last 18 years because we're no further forward. But I'd love to think it's secure because, you know, for those who live in South Tyneside, if you remove the Customs House, I think there'd be quite a hole in, you know, the primary music festival, or primary dance festival, or the community choir, or the ukulele groups.
Magic.
Or the magic festival, or all of the things that happen here, all of the laughs and giggles and sing-alongs that we do. Where do you see that getting replaced? So it's important, I think, that something is here, and that would be what I'd like to achieve before I go. Just give us a little bit of a buffer because every year we get less and less publicly funded support. It's just the way of the world. So we have to generate more money, and we just need a little bit of a buffer because we're 150 years old, the building. So everything costs a lot when it goes wrong. But the institution is 25 years old next year, and we're going to have a big push trying to get. I'm looking for 250 people to give me £1,000, and not me personally, the organisation. But we are having
again, isn't it?
But we are having other schemes as well. But that's my holy grail is to raise £250,000, and then I can look to leaving.
Can I drill into that a little bit? How are you going to do that?
Well, I've thought of being a drugs mule.
Right.
I think there are some people who will be happy to do that.
Okay.
There'll be other opportunities for the kid who comes to the pantomime. But we call ourselves the little pantomime with the big heart. Every year we raise money for charity while we're doing the pantomime. This year we'll be launching our heart appeal, when you'll give the house, put the heart back in the house, customs house. So people will be able to invest in that. A bit like Great North Museum, if anybody's been there. You know, you can buy a butterfly and put your name on it. Well, you'll be able to buy a heart, and we'll be putting those up on the wall.
Like a brick at the Stadium of Light?
Like a brick at the Stadium of Light, yes. Very much like a brick at the
Could I get a brick here if it's 250-year-old? Would you mind if I took a chisel and just put my name on the side of the wall?
If you gave me the 250,000, you could, yeah.
It's a deal. Right, so is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to get out before I humiliate you with a pantomime quiz?
I don't think so. I apologise for all of those who thought I was a technical leader, because I'm clearly not technology leader. But no, I'm just pleased that people are here and have stayed.
Likewise. Well, it's going out live, so if they get up, everyone will see.
Live in China.
Live in China, yeah. That's the camera there, yeah. Okay, Ray.
They're up early.
It's a big catch.
Yeah.
This is the bit.
Yeah, this is where you humiliate your guest.
It is indeed. Paul, have you got the horn?
I have, mate.
And what? I don't want to ask that. It's very much a pantomime joke, that,
It is
isn't it?
indeed, yes. So, Paul will signal 60 seconds with his horn. He'll end 60 seconds with his horn. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask you some questions.
It's a long time for Paul and his horn, that,
It
isn't it?
is
60
indeed.
seconds. Okay, when you're ready.
His good lady, where's his good lady? Yes, yeah. She may agree with you. On you, Paul. In Jack and the Beanstalk, what is the name of Jack's mother?
Dame Trot.
Which pantomime features the character Maid Marian?
Robin Hood or Babes in the Wood.
Who took the babes into the wood?
The Henchman.
What was the name of Aladdin's brother?
Wishy-washy.
What is the occupation of the seven dwarfs?
Miners.
Which character marries Alice Fitzwarren?
Dick Whittington.
Well done. What is my favourite panto?
The Lambton Worm.
Nope. Does the fairy godmother come on stage right or left?
Do you mean stage right or stage
right
left?
Or stage left.
She comes on stage right.
Does indeed. What is the name of the father of Cinderella and the Ugly Sisters?
Baron Stonybroke.
The last lines of a pantomime have two traditions associated with them. Name either.
One, they are always rhyming, and two, you only ever do them at the dress rehearsal.
Well done. Wowzers. Yeah. Yeah. You do indeed know about pantomimes.
I've been, do you know, you're asking about future things. What I'd love to get to, because when I stop doing this, I don't want to stop doing pantomime. While I've still got legs, I would like to do pantomime. But if I get to 2024, that season, it will be 50 years since I did my first pantomime. So that's what I'm striving to.
Baron Hardup. What did you call it, Father?
Baron Stonybrook.
Oh, there's a bit of discrepancy going on there. Like.
Well, it can be both, really.
Oh, I bet it would.
It can. It can.
And
the other thing is, I know your research is good, but never trust Wikipedia.
I've got a bonus question for you.
Oh, yes.
On December the 21st,
Shortest day.
1982,
Oh, God.
Melvin Hayes and Windsor Davies
Yeah,
took to the stage at the Sunderland Empire
yeah,
for Babes in the Wood.
yeah.
5 boys went on stage that night to help with the final song, Old MacDonald. I was one of those boys. What animal noise did I have to make?
Dog.
It was bloody dog. I actually made the noise of a pig and stopped the whole pantomime and had the wrath of Windsor Davies. How did you know that? Were you there?
Did I?
How do you know I was a dog?
Well, do you know, children are not very inventive, and it was either going to be pig, dog, sheep, cow, or something else, horse. And I thought,
Dog. I look like a dog kind of guy.
Dog.
Thanks very much. Right, what we'll do then, we'll take some questions and answers from the floor. I think we've got time for about 3 questions. And I'm going to pull this. You'll have to shout, okay, so this microphone can hear. Can we have some hands, please? Who has a question for Ray? Okay, I see one over here.
Ray, with your long history on the stage and all this technology around, have you actually calculated how many times you've tread the balls?
I haven't actually, and it would probably be a lot less than I don't know. I've no idea. I've honestly no idea. But I would think it's thousands. It's got to be thousands of times just by longevity. If I do 70 every year, and I've been doing it for so many years, and I did 200 and odd Panto, Tommy parties, and I've done plays and stuff. It's got to be thousands.
So your thousands really trumps my 100 podcast, isn't it? Really?
Not really, because you play to 100. You play to 100 countries allegedly.
So Lee's going to make me repeat this question. So Nev, nice and succinct, my friend.
Well, it's like a huge question.
Is it?
It's a 4-parter.
Okay, I'll try and.
I'm joking. I'm just wondered, with technology, you talked about your daughter with the smartphone in front of her and attention spans. Have you had to change any of the content to match that short attention span, that instant gratification that they all get? So are you changing content to match what people are doing, or we just do what you've always done?
Are you Hold on.
It's all right.
Are you changing content, Ray?
I've always been premature. That's why I've got 4 kids.
To adjust with shorter attention spans, are you changing content?
It is much more whizzy than it used to be. It's much more punchy. But the real challenge now when doing pantomime is cultural references. Cultural references, what you can say and how you can say has changed dramatically. But also what people watch. So when I started doing pantomime, you could mention Coronation Street or a character at Coronation Street, and half the audience would know, and the other half you'd mention EastEnders, and they would know. Now, there is so many things people watch, it's really difficult to get a cultural reference that makes the majority of the audience laugh. And mostly, I reference commercials now, or politicians, or the royal family. But things, you've got to really choose something iconic, not a reference to, I don't know what's on TV now because I don't watch it, but Emmerdale, let's say. Love Island. See, Love Island might work. They might work because a lot of people watch it. Only 2 million. 2 million's not a lot, though, is it?
It's definitely not for my podcast, Ray.
No, it's not. Well, if China's watching it.
Any other questions for Ray? Yes.
When you were Tommy the Trumpeter in a past life, you made a tape, and I drove all the way to Spain and listened to it over and over again because that's the only thing that kept the kids quiet. Unfortunately, I've now lost that tape. With technology,
I think I've still
Can
got...
we download the Tommy Trumpeter tape?
I think I've probably still got 500 copies of it left.
In the back of your car?
Yeah, it was one of those things. I think it might be on YouTube. I think it might be. I haven't put it on, but it might be. But there's still some CDs around of DVDs of the show. Yeah, there used to be. I'll tell you a funny. I've got time to tell a story.
You've got time? It better be funny though.
Well, it's not very funny.
We haven't got time then.
People have different opinions of that tape. I've heard children say, "We've lost the tape," and the dad go, "Right, they've lost the tape." But when Tommy the Trumpeter was got quite a following, and I used to do a Saturday morning club in the middle of the winter, and we used to get queues, like 400 people came to the Saturday morning club, and I came down one day, I was walking down the bank, and there was a father, there was a big queue waiting to get in, this is true, and the father was walking up the bank, you know, one of the Saturday dads, that's when you've got the kids, and he was walking up the bank, and I saw him say, it's true, saw him say to his son, "He's died, son, I can't do anything about it." It's true. Dead. Just dead. Which was upsetting for the band, but not as upsetting as when he saw me the next summer and thought I was haunting him.
Is there any more questions for you? We can squeeze a couple more and go on. Yes?
My youngest daughter's going off to London shortly to study applied theatre and performance. Have you got any wisdom for her?
Yeah, stay as an accountant, because you'll get more money. About wisdom about going to theatre school. My daughter, who's now 24, she is an actress and a singer, and she had the dream of being a star. In fact, she's been in the movies, she's been on TV, played on Radio 1, all of those things. But the thing that made her most money this year was being Luigi from the Mario Brothers around McDonald's restaurants for 31 consecutive days around the country, cooking inside this costume. So I think the reality is that every year, somebody told me a figure the other day, we produce 10,000 professional dancers every year in this country. 10,000 professional dancers, qualified dancers. There are approximately 3,000 jobs for dancers every year. But every year we're producing another 10,000. And it's very much in the acting game as well. There's a lot more, you know, theme parks and commercials and the proliferation of channels. There's a lot more work out there, but the money's less. I'll tell you, have I got time?
Go for your life.
I'm going to drop two names here, but it's not because of drop the names, it's to give you an example of how bad the business is now. Tim Healy did his video here, you know, DVD to sell, and he was here with Denise. They were still together then, and I was talking about the business in general, and Tim said it's completely messed up, and I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, 30 years ago, when I was in Alvida St. Pet as an unknown on ITV, completely unknown. Now, 30 years ahead, I'm a name. I'm appearing in Coronation Street because he was at the time. He said, I'm on the same money. Not, you know, proportionally more because of inflation. Exactly the same money as a name. And Denise was saying, and worse than that now, back in those days, you only needed to do one program. If you watch television now, how many times you see the same actors in a whole load of shows? They only used to have to do one program because they made so much money. 6 weeks doing Dad's Army, jobs are good. But not now. So Denise was saying you turn up now to be the driver, the taxi driver, and there's 4 household names all trying to get the same job because the business is so bad. They need the money. They need to work. I think that's, you know, it's not telling you that it's going to be brilliant, but it's a tough business. I would agree with that. Yeah. My daughter, when she was played on Radio 1, I thought she was going to be me pension, but nope, didn't happen.
Good stuff. Let's do a raffle.
Oh, good.
Can I just say something?
Go on then, last question.
Yes, it's not a question, quite
Okay.
a question. For Cultural Diversity Day, how about doing some Bollywood in your pantomime?
We've got Afnan Prince this year in our pantomime. Afnan's been in 2, 3, 4 times, I think. I think there's no reason we shouldn't do a bit of Bollywood.
That to us, yeah.
Well, you see, it'd be lovely for you to pop on and do it, but would you pop on and do it 74 times? and would you pop on and do it at 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then do it all again at 6:30? And, through the cold and the illnesses and stuff, that's the real challenge. It's everybody comes and says, isn't it great? Yeah, get up with flu, and no, you have to do 3 shows that day. Can I tell another quick story? Honestly, this is a funny story to finish with, though, about the difference of working. We had an opera singer join us in pantomime when we did Alice in Wonderland, playing the Queen of Hearts. And I had no idea how opera singers work. Does anybody know how opera singers work? Well, basically, opera singers don't sing the day after they sing. Fantastic job, isn't it? You have to have a day off the day you work, right? And I rang this opera singer, so I don't tell you who it is, but I rang the agent and said, how much is it to have it? And they said £2,000. And I said, I don't pay anybody £2,000 a week. She said, no, per performance. And she's off every day. I said, nah, I'm not doing that. Anyway, she did it anyway for a much cheaper rate. But she'd never sang at 10 o'clock in the morning. And she'd never, ever done 3 shows in a day. That was just crazy. But she wanted to do it because she was from the town and she was coming towards retirement. So somebody said to her, what you'll need to do is just to keep the vocal cords warm all the time. And what we suggest is that you try a little bit of port, just a little bit of port. So on the first 3 show day, she was fine until the last performance when she came bouncing down the corridor. Absolutely bladdered to go on to do the final scene because she'd been taking a little bit of port all day. Anyway, there you go.
Thank you very much for that, really. It's good stuff. Paul, have you left your horn now? Excellent, thank you very much. And now we are going to pick somebody out of the hat. So everybody who's registered tonight and hasn't just rocked up should be in this bucket. Well swirled.
Do you want to read that or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you read that one.
And the winner is Andrew Purvis.
Haha. Now, Andrew Purvis is in Spain. If you're watching...
But if you believe his publicity, he's right behind that camera now.
Pick again.
Pick again.
Sorry, Andrew. Yeah?
Going well.
You've got to be in the room.
Got to be in the room to win it. Okay, this is, oh, well, there you go. It is Duncan Yellowlees. Duncan?
Duncan isn't Edinburgh. Sorry, Duncan. He isn't.
Ray Spencer. Well, I know he's here. Sean Goldfinch. Hey! I have an envelope with the prize. Did I give it to you?
You did
I
not.
must have left it on my desk, but I'll give it to you before.
What's inside it, Ray?
It's a family ticket to Beauty and the Beast for the 1st of December. And it couldn't go to a nicer organisation because Goldfinch help us enormously. And we were talking about money before, sorry, but they do. It's a different Goldfinch. Well, Goldfinch estate agents help us enormously. What they do is everybody who moves into the town gets a welcome pack. But in the welcome pack is come and use the customs house. Dead simple, costs them out, but they're helping us. So you might all have similar ideas, like take your brochure and spread it around.
We've got loads of editing now to do.
Has the hour arrived yet?
Yeah, we're doing. Look, that's bang on. What's happening? Oh, that's fine. I want to relax, man. I've done an hour. You paid us for the hour. That's it. The hour's up. It's done.
He gets paid.
Does anybody have a burning question for Ray? No? Great. Right. So listen, before we do that, we've got to thank Ray. That was amazing. Some real good stories here, so thank you very much, Ray.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to Team Angels, who we've got Lee there at the back, who always plays a blinder. I always stress him right out to the last minute. So thank you very much, Lee. Our photographer, Gavin G. Force Foster at the back there. And of course, Paul and his horn. That's it, it's over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.